All right, today I wanted to talk about something that I have very much been passionate about ever since I would say I was 18 or 19, and it's investing. I think investing is one of the most important things that every young adult needs to get into as early as possible. Um, you know, and maybe there's a stigma between investing. You might think it's risky, or I don't have enough money, I'll start when I'm older. But the truth is, the earlier you start, the better, okay? And you hear this all the time, but it's true. It is so true for anyone in today's economy, especially, to succeed in terms of building wealth. It is one of the quintessential foundations and pillars to make sure that you can secure some wealth and secure some peace of mind for your future self. So at the end of the day, when you think about money, it comes down to inflation, all right? Your money, its value is losing its value as time goes by due to inflation. The only way to make sure that your money doesn't lose its value is to keep building it and letting it work for itself. And that's where investing comes in, right? So let's say that yearly inflation is 3%, right? So every single year, the money that's in your bank account that isn't making more money is losing to inflation by 3%. So 3% of that money has lost its value. Investing allows you to beat that. It allows you to come up from that, okay? It's such a simple analogy, but that's really the basis of it. You're just losing purchasing power if you do not invest your money, and if you keep it in a savings account, you're losing the value and losing future purchasing power. So it's just something obviously that every person should even just open a bank account and do it, okay? Not a bank account, investment account. So yeah, savings accounts, they're good for like smaller, daily expenses and purchases and things like that. But long term wise, like if it's money that you're really not going to be touching for a while, you're going to save it for a bigger, purchase like a house, a car, whatever. It's definitely important to get that money invested, okay? Next up, the eighth wonder of the world that people say all the time, compound interest. Now, when I first started investing, I didn't believe in this concept at all. Even though I had, a pretty good amount to start with, I was like, okay, yeah, sure. My money's gonna like compound, 5%, 10% a year. Doesn't really sound like much, right? If you, especially if you have like a low amount of money, like $1,000, $2,000. But as the years have gone by and I've started to build up, that portfolio of money, and it's just, you start to understand why people say that, because as the years goes by, right, you're getting 10%, 10%, 10%. Your 500 turns to 1,500, 1,500, 2,500, 2,500 to 5,000, 5,000 to 10,000. That's a crazy example, but that's sort of what happens with compound interest. So when you're investing like $500 a month and you get 7% every single year, by the time you're 65, you get 1.2 mil, right? That's the example. But imagine you put, I don't know, 5,000 a month. Okay, that's a crazy number. Let's say you put 1,000 a month, okay? And, just imagine how much money you'd have by the end of that, by the time you're like 40. It'd be way higher. So that's why compound interest is so important, because at the end of the day, the earlier you start, the more benefit you get from compound interest. At the end of the day, compound interest takes time, so you can't delay it. If you delay compound interest, you're setting yourself up for losing a lot of gains, especially when it's money that you're not really going to be using. You can just throw it in the market. You need to take advantage of the time that is available for compound interest to do its thing. I honestly didn't believe in it until I started to see it with my own eyes in my own portfolio. Positions that I've held for like 2 years, like they just doubled out of nowhere. Obviously, we're in the craziest bull market of our lives right now, so that definitely plays a part. But it's still very important. You need to do it as early as you possibly can, right? Preferably when you turn 18. And the next thing is just financial, independence, right? I think at the end of the day, every single person wants to be financially free. They don't want to have someone tell them how to do things and how to live their life. And, this is a tool that will allow you to have some sort of flexibility, right? Regardless, you're not probably going to make like life-changing money. It's very rare that you make the life-changing money in such a short amount of time, especially unless you're trading like options or something, but that's a whole other thing. But realistically, it's like just having the flexibility, right? I'm so fortunate enough to have that flexibility. Like, even if a job, you don't work, you don't like the job you're working at, you're not forced, you're not chained down, right? This is a quick, like, just ramble. Like, you have the ability to leave and do other things. I think it's a privilege, and I think you should take advantage of having that ability. So that's also very important. So, just a quick ideation of that. You don't need to be rich to start. That's the whole thing. You just need to start. That's the whole idea. All right, just start. It doesn't matter how much money you put in, right? Because you need to think about it like this. The money that you don't put in is money that's just being wasted and losing value. You don't lose anything by putting the money in, okay? You need the consistent contributions, even if they're small. Let it add up after a while, and you will make money. I'm telling you, it is something that you will thank your future self for. I've been investing for 5 years, okay? I'm 23 right now. When I first started, it was because of TikTok. Like, I wouldn't have... No one in my family knew about investing in Canada. They're immigrants. They don't know this stuff. But thank God for TikTok, TikTok taught me how to invest. And I can't believe it. I'm in such a better place financially right now. Obviously, I want to do a lot more, but you need to start investing. Point blank, period, full stop. Don't delay it. Start now. $10, $50, $100. It doesn't matter. Buy it now.